Alright, so Taku Phil here. Just giving you guys an update on everything that's happening with me. So, I've decided to go ahead and get rid of my stock ECU, and I've decided to go with a Mega Squirt system. Or technically Micro Squirt, but it's all Mega Squirt company. So, the reason that I decided to go with the Micro Squirt and get rid of the stock ECU is basically my old Beetle, my Subaru motor was from a 97 Impreza Outback Sport. The head blew. And when the head blew, the head gasket blew, it took one of the pistons and some of the bearings with it and damaged my camshaft. I could have went and tried find a new camshaft, find a new bearing, or get new bearings and get a new piston. One of the pistons was jacked up, or the piston rods to be specific. It was just too much. I would have to scrounge through other motors and hopefully have good parts, or maybe hopefully find a good block that didn't have the same issue. And I was looking at maybe like $200-300 for a good block. In my area. In your area, it might be easier to find a more viable block, but in my area, it's not so easy. The only way you can really go about it is to find a running car and pull a motor from a running car, maybe change the heads out yourself and do all that stuff. For me, it wasn't feasible. So I came across a solid run. I came across a solid another EJ22 from another project car that the guy didn't have enough money to finish the wired harness and stuff like that, and he sold it to me, and I got that motor for just $150. So I went ahead and took it apart, got a new head gasket, made sure it was nice and clean on the inside, and it was, and we dropped the motor in. Um, when I got the motor, it looked a little different from my old motor. Didn't really know much about the EJ22s to find out that it was a I guess they have a difference to where it's what they call a phase one, a phase two, crazy Facebook videos, phase one and a phase two motor. So my old motor, let's see here if I have pictures here. So my old motor looked a little different, and my new motor, this is the new motor. You can tell by the shape of the head cover. If the head cover looks a little different, then you most likely have a phase one. Typically, phase one was up till 99. So up until 98. So if you have a motor that was in a car that was pre 98, you most likely got a phase one. This motor is a phase two. So this is the motor I got. So after doing a bunch of research, I found out that I can't use the same wire harness, the same computer with a phase two. I needed to find a phase two ECU and wire harness. And again, it became a pain in the butt to have to pull it, pay several $100s for a good ECU and wire harness, and have to spend hours and hours pulling it from another car. And I realized, I'd spent like $500 just getting my wire harness done. I was lucky enough that I pulled it all from a complete car, so I didn't really have to spend too much on the harness itself. But I got the ECU from the car, and that was just all good luck. But I didn't want to have this problem in the future because I wanted to possibly go to a 2.5, maybe a 2.5 dual overhead cam in the future. That would require me to change out my transmission because I'm using the stock transmission right now, and it might not be able to handle the power. So I wanted to basically leave myself open to being able to put any type of motor. So I decided to go with the Mega Squirt system, specifically the Micro Squirt. So with the Micro Squirt system, you don't have to have a specific motor. You just need to wire it up, put in the proper programming, and you're good to go. It's literally, because the Micro Squirt system that I got, and I can show you here, is literally, after shipping, tax, and I got the additional insurance, $380. It's $380, I can show you the specific one I got is the micro squirt. Where is it? Should be under micro squirt, the mega squirt. Here you go. So I got this one right here, the micro squirt assembly, or the system management system, and I got the 30-inch. They come in either 30-inch or the 8-foot wires. I don't need 8 feet worth of wires. So this is it right here. You know, you have the computer itself. This cable is what you would use to hook up to your computer to program it, and these are all the wiring that you need for hooking it up to your harness. Now the cool thing about it is it seems like it's complicated, but honestly it's not that complicated. You know, you're gonna hook up the banks, you're gonna hook up the sensor, you're gonna hook up your throttle positioning sensor, you're gonna hook up your crank position sensor. You're gonna, if you want, you can hook up your idle air control. But the cool thing with these systems is you can actually eliminate your idle air control and get a block off for that. You're gonna need your O2, so you're gonna hook up your O2 sensor, and you can either keep or you can eliminate your mass airflow sensor. I've heard some people say that they found it less complicated and better to hook up without the mass airflow sensor and just set a base programming, because once you start increasing that variable of having to calculate and manage with the mass airflow sensor, then it becomes a little bit more of a pain. It's really up to you. If you want to deal with that, you might be able to get better tuning and better performance out of it. I don't know. The one thing I've heard most people say is if you eliminate the mass airflow sensor, you eliminate the idle air control. When it first starts, it's a little rough until it warms up, and then it smooths itself out, because you're not setting with the mass airflow and the idle air. It's using that cold and that hot to really manage it and balance it out and fit and give you the proper balance until it levels out. With this one, you're setting a base. It's going to be below that base, and then once it warms up, it's going to get to that base and run normally. So it really depends on how you want to run it. So it should be arriving later this evening, and when I get it, I'll do an unboxing. I went to DIYautotune.com. There are other sellers, but this was one of the few sellers that was in the United States, that was close to me, that I could get it literally in a couple of days. I did have one issue when you order it. You have to make sure that you stay on top of them. When I ordered it for about 2 or 3 days, it just kept saying pending approval under my order status. And I had to actually email them and contact them and say, hey, what's the status? You know, it keeps saying pending. And then they replied and they were like, oh, they were really busy. You know, my order was approved, but they forgot to update it. And now they were going to ship it out today. And sure enough, they sent it out they're sending it out 3-day priority, and it should be here today. So if you have that issue, just make sure you check it every now and then and let them know, hey, what the fuck, you know, where's my shit? Because I don't know if they're just busy or whatever. So when I get it, he goes, I'm going to do an unboxing, and then eventually I'm going to try and do a video of us hooking it up. Right now it's at my buddy's shop, and we went ahead and put in a new motor using the same old mounts. That's another great thing. Once you buy the mounts, it fits for all motors. So if you decide to stay with an old EJ22 or go all the way up to, you know, a brand new 2.5 turbo, same mounts. The only issue with the micro squirt versus its bigger brother, the mega squirt, is if you're going to do the micro squirt, you're very limited on tuning. So what you're going to do with tuning is you're going to do a basic tune, maybe an auto tune, maybe put in a pre-programmed program. With a mega squirt, you can do a lot more tuning, especially if you're going to do like a turbo. You know, if you're going to create a custom turbo build and all that stuff, and you want that to be managed separately along with the system, and you start adding all these other little elements, the mega squirt is the way you want to go. But as you can see, the mega squirt is a more expensive device. You know, you're looking at around $500-$600. Now, if you're not confident in wiring, you're not confident in anything, you can go to my boys at Outback Motorsports, and they do sell a complete kit. So you send them the wires from the inside of the engine bay, so you don't have to tear apart the car and try to get the entire engine system, the wire harness. All you need to do is cut all the wires that are in the engine bay that connect to the motor and bring it to them. And it's expensive. It's about $1,500 depending on your setup. On average, it's about $1,500, but they give you a mega squirt. They put in the programming to give you the peak performance, and they do the wiring for you. So I don't know if they do, if you bring it to them. I'll have to see in the future and see what they say. But I know that they do that package there where they program it. So then it becomes plug and play. So you send them your wire harness, you get back the ECU, the wires to hook up to the Beetle system, and your wires cut and connected to the system. So you literally just have to plug in the wires to the motor, hook up those, like your starter, your power, and your relays inside the Beetle, and you should be good to go. It should just be turn and good. You don't have to worry about tuning it or doing any hooking up any computers and uploading programs. So if you're not confident in that stuff, and I know a lot of people aren't, that's one option, but you're going to be paying that premium. You're going to be paying a lot of premium. You're going to pay that huge premium of about $1,000 for them to do pretty much the work. I have done wiring, I've wired up stuff before, so I'm a little more confident. So that's where a lot of the money is. It's time consuming to have to go through each wire, wired it up. So just keep that in mind. Once I get it, again, I'm going to try and show you guys how we wired it up. It should be a fun little project, show you because see how the programming goes and all that good stuff. If you guys have any questions, just leave me a comment down below, or you can message me directly, and I'll keep you guys updated. Again, one of the cool things about the Mega Squirt, the Micro Squirt system, which I should have done from the get-go instead of spending the money to get my deal wired, is the fact that if you decide to change the motor, you can use any motor, not even a Subaru motor. You can use whatever motor you can mount into that Beetle and use the same ECU. You just got to reprogram it, wire it up, boom, you're good to go. I'm going to be using butt connectors so that it can be taken on and off as easy as pie. And it's, if I decide to buy a big turbo motor, I should be able to wire it up and use this system. When I look at how much I spent, on somebody may spend on ECU wiring, getting the wiring done, and then hooked up, you could have just gone with a Micro Squirt system. But I know now. So as soon as I get the Beetle running and all that good stuff, I'll keep you guys updated. Again, got any questions, leave them down below or email me. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll try to keep you guys updated. The next video I'll probably do is I'm still messing with the motorcycle, trying to get the GS400 running right. The carbs are a little whacked out. Once I get the Beetle, hopefully I'll have the Beetle running within the next week or so. And I'll let you guys know what's happening. Remember, you can go to DIYAutotune.com to get the Micro Squirt. If you just want to go that route, if you want to do some heavy tuning and turboing and all that stuff, you can go ahead and get the Mega Squirt 3 is what's really recommended. So it's Taco Phil. I'll talk to you guys later.